Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're live. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on our Gen Con live show. Today, I am here with Nellie Steiner.
Hello, that's me.
Welcome, Nellie. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. I'm excited you're here, and I'm excited for Gen Con, and I'm excited for the questions that we're going to get from chat, and it's going to be a great time.
We're so close.
I know. We are 5 days away. Is that right? I think we're 5 days away.
It's Thursday today, and Thursday is when the hall opens.
Sure. So okay. Yeah, it's a little bit earlier for us folks here at Gen Con. So we're getting prepared. Most of us are flying out this weekend. Mm-hmm. When are you gonna arrive in Indianapolis?
I am arriving on Sunday.
Okay.
I like to arrive really early and get settled.
Yeah.
There's this sharp contrast in Indy between Gen Con and not Gen Con.
Sure.
And arriving early gives me a chance to remember where everything was.
Okay.
Because I have a terrible memory.
Uh-huh.
So I get the lay of the land.
Okay, that's actually a great first tip. Tip number 1. That's great. Impulse says that they're arriving on Wednesday to check out the in-flight report. Oh man, that is gonna be that's gonna be so cool. I love seeing FFG stuff. They've got the coolest stuff, and all the X-Wing 2.0 miniatures are coming out.
I cannot wait. I can't wait.
Man, it's gonna be so cool. When is everyone else coming in? Yeah, let us know when you're coming in, and that'll be fun to know. I'm also flying in on Sunday.
Oh, cool.
So, that's show setup begins bright and early on Monday morning.
Oh, really? Yeah. Is that when you start?
That is when I start.
Info.
Yeah,
cool.
Officially on Monday morning. So it'll be exciting to have that first experience because
That's right.
I am a first-time Gen Con person too. So
I forgot about that.
I'm really excited to hear.
I'm the veteran.
You are the veteran here. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear your thoughts and your views on going to Gen Con, because this is kind of something that you do a little bit on your YouTube channel anyway. Is that right?
Right.
So let's just catch everyone up to speed on Nellie's YouTube. So what's it called?
My YouTube channel is called Nellie's Nerdy Adventures. A great name that I made too long ago.
Yeah.
And I'm locked into that, but I like it.
Sure.
It's still applicable, and I go to conventions. Mainly Gen Con is the center of my YouTube channel, and I vlog my experience there. To go back to my first Gen Con experience, I'm a planner.
Okay.
And I go to YouTube. I want a visual representation.
Sure.
And I couldn't find any great videos that were an experience of Gen Con. I found a lot of, here's an interview with an artist or a designer, but I wanted to experience what it was like. So my channel is all about vlogging conventions and giving you an idea of what the entire experience is like, as opposed to just certain aspects of it.
That's great.
So check out.
You've done Gen Con before, is that right?
I think I started in 2012, 2013.
Okay.
So, that's a lot of years.
Some years now.
Yes.
So you have quite a bit of Gen Con video content on the Nellie's Nerdy Adventures channel. So if you first timers are looking just for okay, what does this even look like? Where do I go? What should I expect? Check out Nellie's YouTube channel, because it's going to have a lot of great stuff for you on there. Great, perfect. Thank you, Jordan, for pulling that up. What else is Space Mechanic coming in Tuesday to set the booth. Great, awesome. Tuesday. So
Tuesday's a good day.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's before everybody else arrives, and you can just get situated for a minute.
Get settled.
Yeah. If you can afford to come in a day or so early, I highly recommend doing that.
Okay, so that's tip number 1 essentially, right? Is if you have the resources to come in early, absolutely do that.
Right. If it's your first Gen Con too, and especially for people who are soloing it, arriving early on Wednesday or on Tuesday is really good, because it gives you the opportunity to make friends before Gen Con starts. You guys have a lot of events on the Wednesday that are free and very meet and greet oriented.
Okay.
And it's a way to connect with people before the con starts, so you can make buddies.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't want to just be, if you're not traveling with a friend, you don't want to just be wandering alone. I mean, for me, I often end up being kind of a loner, because you wouldn't be able to tell from on stream, but I'm like, oh, it's fine. I don't want to bother anyone.
It's okay.
It's fine. I'll just, I'll find something to do. It's fine. Friday is the new Thursday. All right. So when you fly in, So you're coming in on Sunday. And this is, for anyone who comes in Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Sure.
essentially before the convention. What are your first steps? What would you recommend?
Go to your hotel, get settled,
Sure.
maybe unpack a little bit. It depends a little bit on your budget. So there's some hacks here, but I tend to go to, there's a couple of grocery stores within walking distance.
Okay.
And I tend to go, because I don't want to fly with all my snacks and water bottles.
That makes sense.
So I walk to the grocery store and pick up a bag of protein bars, nuts, water, whatever I need.
Mm-hmm.
And that also gets me to walk around the city a little bit just to get acclimated to the temperature, but also get a lay of the land.
Right.
So that's like the first thing I do is...
Okay, yeah, just go ahead and go walk to the grocery store and get your snacks and stuff. And and that's really important too. I think that's something that a lot of people maybe don't think about is like they're just, I know it's things that slip my mind is I'm just going to go game forever and I'll find food later. It'll be fine. So be prepared. Bring water, bring snacks, especially like protein.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't forget protein.
Something that's just gonna...
And sugar, too. Yeah. Like apples or oranges.
Something that's gonna sustain you.
Right.
Right? Like, there's people that overschedule. I overschedule every year. Don't do that, but you will. You're going to do it. So you're gonna have a 4-hour RPG back to back with another one.
Yeah.
And in those situations, you really just want to have something in your bag just so that you have emergency rations.
Right. Okay. Hey, that's a great Alex. Alex says the farmers market on Wednesday morning is awesome. So if you are going to be in town before Wednesday morning, that definitely seems like a great opportunity to check that out for sure. Sugar, just buy it by the pound. I don't know about that, but definitely, especially if I know I'm kind of prone to a low blood sugar, especially when I haven't eaten. So just being able to eat something that's gonna get my blood sugar up pretty quickly, especially with fiber in it. I feel like I know these are really boring, nitty gritty facts, but it's so important, especially because I don't think you realize until you're there how much energy it takes to just kind of exist in this space, right?
Yeah.
Because it's essentially Disneyland.
Yeah, it's like visually and audibly and emotionally and psychologically just draining, and physically obviously too.
I mean, you're having a lot of fun, and that's
stimulating
too, right? So you gotta prepare, set yourself up for success later. Yeah. By preparing ahead of time.
And future you is going to thank past you for doing that.
Absolutely.
And future you may curse past you for not doing that.
So get your snacks set up right away. Get yourself set up with some water for the weekend. Most hotels have a fridge. So, I mean, honestly, just protein bars, fruits, stuff you can easily throw in your backpack for the day.
Yep. And also, if you're on a budget, it helps to maybe get bread, peanut butter, jelly, and make sandwiches every day. A lot of hotels will have microwaves, so you might be able to make oatmeal.
Okay,
These are some little hacks that I've learned over the years that save some money.
What else do you have for us? Because
so much.
So just to catch everyone else up here really quick, you used to fly in from Ireland, is that right, to attend Gen Con?
Yep.
Okay, and then if you can hear, Nellie has a slight accent still, so you might still hear her accent. So you're actually German though, right? Is that
born in Germany, lived there for about 10 years, then moved to Ireland, and then now I live here.
Okay, great. So you used to fly in, so you probably are a little bit more used to okay, I just spent all my budget getting over here. Now what?
I don't have the luxury of being impulsive.
Sure.
When you're traveling internationally, I kind of have to plan this at least 9 months in advance.
Sure.
So
so for specifically for that, what other? I mean, I thought the sandwich idea was great. It's just, I think that's a lot of things that people just don't even think about. I have some money set aside for food. I'll deal with it there. I mean, and definitely there's food trucks available. There's Hotbox. There's a lot. There's a lot of low cost options, and it completely ranges in Indy, right? And you can go get a Brazilian steak dinner for sure if that's in your budget. But I think it's probably going to be most helpful if we can figure out tips for other people who are okay, what else is cost saving? Because then again, you also want to spend more money on games, right?
That's where your money should be going.
Right.
There's a couple of things around the whole food thing. So, first is efficiency. It takes forever to go get food at Gen Con because
It's so massive,
It's
right?
massive. There's 60,000 people going
Right.
for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So here's some quick shot tips.
Yeah.
Get food before a couple of hours before the hall opens, because everybody wants to go get food at 9 so that they can be ready at 10 for the hall opening.
Right.
And the exhibitor hall closes at 6 p.m. So at that time, everybody kicks out and goes for dinner. So leave at 5 p.m. and beat the
Instead.
rush.
Okay.
Also, if you're going to go, you can't just leave and be like, I'm going to go grab lunch. I'll be back in an hour, because it might take 30, 45 minutes to get a table. And because they're serving so many tables or people, it's going to take another 30 or so minutes to get your food. And that's already an hour. And then you still have to eat it.
And walk. So then that's like 10 to 15 minutes.
So
right
that's
there.
why sometimes I just bring sandwiches and snacks, just because,
Mm-hmm.
not just to keep my energy up, but just efficiency wise. Sometimes I just know I'm not going to be making the next game if I leave right now.
Right.
So
snacks, pack snacks for sure.
Snacks and maybe an optional meal.
And yeah,
like that.
oh, that's actually a great idea. So even if you're planning on hitting up the giant aisle of food trucks for lunch, or if you're planning on going out to lunch, like prepare for the worst, right? Like having a sandwich packed is not going to hurt anything, and you're probably going to be happy to have it later, right?
And there's a lot of options. You've got the food trucks, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Right within one block, there's a couple of restaurants, Noodle Company and the Steak and Shake. And there's also the food court in the mall if you want to save some dollars. And their service is usually pretty fast because they're used to serving fast food.
Absolutely.
Another tip is a lot of people don't want to walk more than a block or two away from the convention center. So if you just walk that extra block, there's no lines. There's like a spaghetti factory and a couple of restaurants. That'll take you like 10 minutes to get to, but you'll be faster.
Just going out to there anywhere.
A little bit further.
That makes sense.
That's another little hack.
I'm just scanning through chat here really quick to make sure we don't have any questions. I know everyone's just like, okay, just talking about food, great. I know, but I think it's important, right? So
you have to think about it.
Yeah, it's something you absolutely have to think about. Especially coming to Gen Con. If this is your first time, veterans, I'm sure you've overscheduled yourself before and wished, you hadn't have done that before. So, you get yourself set up for success, right?
Yep.
And then you get to the convention.
Get dressed. You want to make sure you're wearing comfortable clothes
Yeah.
and comfortable shoes that are broken in. I've made the mistake of bringing my heels and my pumps and my sandals and all of these things, and maybe a dress that isn't particularly comfortable. So pick the clothes that make you feel the best and make you feel comfortable. Don't just buy brand new shoes and hope that they're going to work out. Use a pair that's reliable. And,
so you like your running shoes or
something like that. Yeah. I mean, maybe if you have other shoes that make you feel really good and are comfortable, wear those. Just
know that you're going to be on your feet all day.
I have brought huge suitcases to Gen Con and only used a minimal portion because I was like, I'm not going to be wearing this corset thing for 8 hours while playing games. It's just not going to happen. So limit yourself and it's just going to be bad.
Right. Okay. Sandals with your socks. All right, Alec. I mean, hey, man, more power to you. Like doing the sandals and socks game. Who else has information on like shoe wear or like clothing? Obviously cosplayers. If you're a cosplayer, it's gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I mean, basically, it's just gonna be like. It's not like what we're wearing, right? T-shirts and jeans and your comfiest shoes, and that's just what you're gonna stick to.
I also encourage people to wear like shirts or clothes for their fandoms, because that's a way for other people to be like, I love that show, or I love that game. It can be a nice icebreaker. It could be a way to make friends and
absolutely. So you're not doing Gen Con alone.
Yeah, right. And it's almost like a casual cosplay.
Yeah.
Like even if you go to Hot Topic and pick up a Pikachu dress or something like that. It's like a very casual cosplay thing, and it's not intimidating, and people are gonna talk to you about it.
Well, I think we're gonna find Alec in a Pikachu dress, socks, and sandals. It sounds like.
I'm looking forward to it.
I hope so. Marine Mike says he wears his office shirt each year and gets high fives. So you're right. It's a great way to meet people, and everyone's so friendly too. Alex says my secret is out. Let's see.
Bags, maybe. There's several bag options that you have at Gen Con. All of them serve different purposes. You can have lots of pockets
Sure.
which is great. You can have those rolling suitcase things, which I'm not always a huge fan of because they get in the way and I trip over things. So if you have one of those, just be really considerate. My favorite is a backpack with 2 straps. I used to do a messenger bag and it really hurt my shoulders. Those things that you buy in the hall really start filling up and weighing you down. So the 2 strap thing puts equal pressure on my shoulders and also it frees up my hands. I can look at things in the hall. I can play a game. I can talk to people. So I recommend the double.
So just a straight up backpack, honestly. Like, I mean, obviously it's up to you, but once you start picking up stuff from the exhibit hall, it's going to get heavy pretty quickly. I saw a question in chat about getting into the convention center if you are in a suburban hotel property. And I just want to let you guys know we have partnered with Lyft this year, and we will have really cool discount codes for y'all. So that's upcoming in the next, obviously the next few days we'll have those for you. So be on the lookout for those. Especially, I think it's an even better deal if you haven't used Lyft before. I think it's kind of like a, hey, try us and get extra off. But also, if you have used Lyft before, I believe there's still a discount code for you.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. A lot of people end up having to choose a further away hotel. And maybe because you haven't been to Gen Con before, or maybe because that was just more affordable and available at the time. So I'm really excited that Gen Con's offering a more accessible way to get to Gen Con.
We love being able to partner with Lyft for sure. I think the downtown hotel is like, I feel like a lot of people think of it as like the that's where you want to be, and obviously it is where you want to be, but the fact of the matter is like it's really hard to get a downtown hotel, and thankfully the city of Indianapolis and Visit Indy and all of our hotel partners in Indy, we work with them every year to get more downtown hotel blocks added and everything, but at the same time there's only a certain amount of space. And there's
a lot of people
and a lot of people. Exactly. So suburban hotel properties are great. Those are great options too. So we're really excited to be able to partner with Lyft.
Sometimes the outside further hotels are cheaper. There's more space, and often they offer breakfast, which a lot of the downtown hotels don't. So it's a good deal, and now having an easier way to get to Gen Con is just going to be perfect.
All right, let's see. I'm just going to scan through the questions here, just make sure we're not missing anything. All right. Hey, if you are a brand new attendee and I know it's probably like a lot of, like you don't know and you don't even know what to ask, but if you do have questions, that's what we're here for today. And it'll be my first time, so I'm right here with you, and I'm more than happy to ask. And Nellie's more than happy to provide tips and tricks on everything from attire to eating to events to scheduling to everything you want. Yeah, dude, man, that's the way to go. Is find a hotel with breakfast. That was my first question. So we, when I got my hotel room set up, I was like, does it offer breakfast? Like, that was my very first question.
Yeah,
I'll find a way to get to the convention center as long as you feed me first.
I think an important thing to mention for people who've never been to Gen Con before and to you is to understand that I know, and everybody knows, that you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
There's a lot. All you know is that you're going to be going to this place for 4 days with 60,000 other people.
Sure.
And the caliber and variety of events is mind-blowing. I mean, they've got everything from like sewing classes to night fighting to RPGs and card games and LARPing. Just the variety is so huge. And I guess what I felt like was like, everybody's going to laugh at me. All I do is D&D and nobody's really going to welcome me in. Yeah. And what's important to know is that I'm overwhelmed with going to this Gen Con. Literally everybody is. You're all in the same boat. And everybody pretty much goes to Gen Con to make friends and enjoy the nerd community.
Sure. I think that's part of the experience too, right? Is like that feeling of being overwhelmed. That feeling of you're just not gonna see all the stuff there is to see, then next year or the year after you'll be able to catch up on more, but it's kind of like the Disneyland experience for sure. There is just too much.
And I think that should free you up a little bit, knowing that there's too much that you cannot possibly do everything. I mean, if you think realistically, maybe you will be able to hit like 10 to 12 events for the whole con, depending on their length. that should free you up to just look at the things either that you're comfortable with, and maybe you just want to do the thing that you're used to make more friends within that thing.
Right.
Or maybe you want to try things that you just could not try where you're from because that's not available. And just go with what really sounds interesting.
Now, Nellie, would you, for first-time people or maybe people coming back their second or third Gen Con, would you recommend more that they try to step out of their comfort zone a little bit more and maybe just try something that they wouldn't normally try? Or would you say, you know, try to stick to what you know and then maybe branch out once you make friends? Or what's your advice on that?
I think it's a little bit of a balancing act, and it really... you have to balance your level of comfort and anxiety with where you're comfortable. So I would say if you're comfortable with trying new things, please do it. Just try something different. Even if it's just 1 or 2 events and the other 8 are just something that you're used to.
Yeah, sure.
But, you know, you can also, like, if you're used to just playing X-Wing, maybe you could try Imperial Assault. Or maybe you can try a different minis game and try to branch out just a little bit. So you're still comfortable with, I understand how a skirmish or war game works.
Yeah.
And I'm not completely new to it. And just kind of tiptoe out of it. Try a couple of new things, and then the other things you can just do that you're comfortable with.
Right.
My first Gen Con, I actually played in, like, 1 or 2 official, like, RPGs, like D&D and Pathfinder or something like that. And the rest was just the cool things I'd heard about.
Yeah.
So Cardhalla,
sure.
The balloon animal tearing apart thing, the beer garden, just a lot of the cool things that I wanted to experience. And a lot of that just filled out my schedule already.
Sure.
So I definitely recommend trying those too.
We have some great advice in chat too for, try going up to tables. Thank you, Marine Mike. Try going up to a table and just, saying, hi, I'm Kristen. Hi, I'm Nellie. Can I join? And in your experience, Nellie, have people been, like, oh, yeah, I guess you can join? Or have people been pretty welcoming?
So if there's room for someone, I've never been turned down. And I've done that. I've gone to be like, that looks really interesting. Are you guys playing Azul? Is there a way I can slide in? And nobody's ever been like, no, please leave.
Right.
And they've always been like, actually, this is a 2-player game, but it's like 10 minutes. How about you stick around and you can play the next round or something like that. I've never really been shut down unless they were like, we're going somewhere or something like that.
Sure.
You can also... in your bag of snacks,
your bag
meals.
Of holding,
I take a couple of small pocket games with me. I have Love Letter and Hanabi and a couple of really small things so that when I'm stuck in a line or I've got an hour to fill in between a break, I can just be like, hey, you're also waiting for something? You want to play Love Letter? And I'll teach you how to play it.
That's great, Nellie. Are there any other... what other small games are there like that? Some really like, I just played the other day. I know I just talked about it. People are going to get tired of me talking about my little games I play every week because as you know, Nellie and I have been friends for a few years. I spend most of my time in video games, and so I'm branching out more into board games now. And so I'm like, this week, you guys, I played this awesome game. You won't believe what it was. It blew my mind. And people are like, Kristen, that's been out for some time, but great.
I really want there to be a spot where you it's a 5-minute Twitch stream of like, this is what I'm excited about this week.
I know, it's just gonna be like a smash cut of me at Gen Con. Like, oh my god,
what is it?
Hive. Have you played Hive?
Yes.
Oh, I love it. There's no board even. Yeah. Like you can play on any surface.
And I think it comes in a little bag.
And it comes in a little bag.
It's a cool like chess style territory control game. I love it.
Yeah, so it's abstract strategy. Maybe Jordan can put up the link, or maybe Alec or whoever to BGG the Hive, or I think it's just Hive. But it's super fun, super fast, very easy to learn. And it's if you like abstract strategy, which I do, I'm like addicted to abstract strategy. Whenever I can learn a game really quickly and then sit there and noodle about my moves for the next 5 or 10 minutes.
When you can get to the strategy straight after learning the game, rather than that's when I'm in. I need to learn these 5,000 rules and then maybe I think I'll understand. But there's a ton. I bet if you go to BGG and just looked up small games for my backpack, you would get a whole list of them.
Great. All right. So let's see. Where were we? I believe I saw a question. So let me scroll through the chat here just a moment.
What's the best daytime to hit the exhibit hall?
Oh, that's a good question. Go ahead and answer
Best
that.
daytime to hit exhibit hall? Well, whenever it's open. It's open 10 to 6 every day, and then it closes a little earlier on Sundays.
4. It's open 10 to 4 on Sunday.
I mean, I guess it's busy all the time. I don't know. Here's some tips, I guess, is there's going to be some things that are exclusive to Gen Con or some products that they're only bringing an X amount.
Sure.
So if you're looking for something or you want to get the exclusives, the best time to go is right at the start when everybody else goes.
Yeah.
However, if you want to maybe save money, get discounts, and get good deals right at the end, a lot of people don't want to take all of the stuff they brought to Gen Con back home with them. So sometimes you can get a good deal towards the end and the last day of the convention.
I'm sorry, I keep shifting.
These chairs are weird.
We have new chairs in our stream today. You might have noticed, but they're, you know what? I'm just gonna get comfy. This is just how it's gonna go today. All right.
But I don't know that there's a specific time of day. I think the best time of day is whenever you have a gap in your schedule. I try to put like 2-hour to 3-hour blocks in my Gen Con schedule just for like roaming the hall. There is.
Sure.
I don't know what, like 300 to 400 vendors or something like that.
500 actually. Over more than 500 companies will be in the exhibit hall. So it's a lot to look at.
It's one of the most impressive things that you're going to see when you arrive at Gen Con. Just walking into that and just seeing this whole place that is stores that are catering specifically pretty much to your personal interests.
Sure.
And it's a lot. I think you can probably walk most of it, because I just snake up and down from row like 100 to
So
infinite.
That's interesting. Do you, sorry to cut you off, I didn't mean to, would you prefer to just say like, okay, I have 3 hours, I'm going to try and do as much of the exhibit hall as I can? Or is it better to just say, okay, I'm going to do this section of the exhibit hall on Thursday, I'm going to do that section of the exhibit hall on Friday, and then so on and so forth.
So I am very methodical about it.
Okay.
I know what I want.
Anything, right?
Exactly. So what I do is always on Thursday, I'm there for when it opens, and I block a 4-hour block.
Sure.
And what I do is I start on row 100, and I just walk up and down. The hall is kind of set up in rows mostly. Sometimes it gets a little weird. But you can just walk up and down and snake your way through the whole thing. It takes about 4 hours to get a good look at everything.
Okay.
And then over the next over the next couple of days, I'll be like, I saw that thing, and I take photos of the booth number.
Oh, that's a great
And
tip.
I usually hold the thing that I like.
I love
and then I know to go back to that booth at a later time.
So basically, you do an initial run through.
Yep, whole run through. Yep.
And then you take a picture of the thing that you like with the booth number. So then later, I mean, not everyone has, unlimited money to spend on everything, right? So go back later with the things that you really want.
I want to see all my options first, and then
that's a great tip.
See what I want. Unless I don't usually buy things on day one unless it's like an exclusive or something I'm definitely gonna want.
Let's see. I'm just reading. Gen Con Pride shirt. What? I'm excited. Let's see. Thank you. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be disconnecting from you, Nellie. I'm just making sure that we're covering.
I want to know if they have questions.
All the questions, all the comments, making sure.
I do agree with that comment about this. This should be the uniform. I think that would
be the official Gen Con uniform.
I would be okay with that.
I love it. It's so comfy and it's very soft.
There is a question I had for you, and I don't know if you have the answer for it right now. But one of the things sometimes my videos are not vlogs and they're informative. They're like top 10 tips for this or what to wear or something like that. And one of the things I wanted to talk about, and maybe you can answer this, is if you're a first timer and you're stuck and have a question, my advice usually is to ask anybody around you.
Sure.
They'll all be willing to help. And then to ask a Gen Con volunteer staff member. And I wondered if you know what they're going to be wearing or what identifying thing they might have, so you can identify them from everybody else. And how, because there's also the convention center staff,
right,
which may not be the right people to talk to. You may just want to talk to the Gen Con staff. So
so definitely seek out our event team, and they'll be in bright red shirts this year, and they'll say in big, I believe it's white block letters, event team on the back, and you'll be able to know them because you'll see like all the Gen Con sponsors will be on those shirts as well, so they'll be pretty easy to spot. They'll be all in fedoras. and socks and sandals. No.
So one other thing I want to mention, especially for first timers, if
Yeah.
you are a person that does get overwhelmed or doesn't like crowds, and I don't think I'm that person, but every year on Friday on cue, I like get a little
You're
sad
just
and
like,
mopey.
Yeah.
Every Friday, it's weird. But what I found,
It's very draining, right?
and you actually don't realize it, and you're like, why am I sad? This is the happiest place on earth.
Right.
What I found really helpful is the quiet room.
Okay.
It's a room right in the heart of the convention center, and I don't know how Gen Con does it, but you go in, and it's dark and completely silent. You know when it's so quiet, you can almost hear like a hum?
Sure.
It's that, and I have no idea how they do it, but I spend like 30 minutes in there, and I'm like mopey and sad, and I come out, I'm like, I am ready.
I know. I need to do a Gen Con meditation series of, and like, okay, this is just like, let's get ourselves centered and balanced and
just unplug.
Yeah.
Just sit there, just breathe for a little bit. It helps. It really, you don't realize how much the people and the sound and the
Just
constant
everything.
images are affecting you.
Right.
Emotionally,
it's super
maybe.
fun, but it's also very...
It's draining. So it's
right.
nice to unplug for like 30 minutes or something. So I recommend hitting up the quiet room.
And then, great, thank you for that, Jordan. And then, quiet room, thank you. That's up there too. What else do we have? What else are your favorite hot tips, Nellie?
Hot tips.
Because you were saying right before we started that you were actually doing a similar video for your own channel about this last night. Is
I
that
actually
right?
filmed it yesterday or a couple of days ago, and it took forever. It's a really long, it's a 45-minute video, but I believe it is a pretty concise guide that just gives you everything from like when to book travel, when to get your badge, when events go live, some key dates, what to wear, what to eat, when to eat, and then just some general advice. So that should be up tonight on my channel.
Yeah,
it should be up now, but I don't think it is. It's taking some time to upload. It's
still processing, okay.
But it is Gen Con Beginner's Guide, Tips and Advice or something like that.
Great.
And I think it's going to be really helpful. That's the kind of thing I needed before I came.
Right.
And it's interspersed, like most of it is just my face, but it's interspersed with some footage to give you a visual reference to some of the things.
So what would be your advice for, I mean, this is obviously my first year too, and I'm a little bit different because I'll be working the event. But I know if I were just attending, I would really want to fill up my schedule from like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Starting with like that morning yoga that we have to like 10 p.m. magic. Yeah. Right. And that seems like the coolest thing to do. So what's you said earlier, I think you said a number of like the right amount of events.
I don't know. I always overschedule. It depends on the type of event. Yeah. There's 8-hour LARPs, there's 4-hour RPGs, and there's 30-minute something else's. So it depends. I think I schedule myself for maximum of... I should schedule myself for like a maximum of like 6 hours of solid event time. And then, the rest of it is exhibitor hall, food, and friendship. Yeah, there's a couple more things actually I just thought of about tickets and events. Yeah. Okay, so tickets to events, you can buy those from the Gen Con website. You can buy those, I think, people in chat might correct me, up to 2 hours prior to the event. So even if you show up at Gen Con with nothing, like just your badge, and you're like, oh, I forgot tickets, how do I do this? You can still buy tickets to events up to 2 hours before an event.
Okay.
You can also choose not to buy tickets, and especially if the events you want to go to are sold out, and just buy a bunch of generic tickets. Sure. The value of those, I think, are $2 a piece. So say I wanted to go play X-Wing, and it's $4. I would give the event organizer 2 of my generic tickets if he's got room in his game, and then I can play that. Right. So you can just walk around with all of these generic tickets.
It's kind of like a carnival, right? So basically, it's like carnival. Just I mean, obviously everyone's been to a fair or carnival where you have these, tickets and you pay the rides, for the tickets. And, we kind of operate the same way at Gen Con because we want you to be able to have a guaranteed spot, for one. And for two, we're very good at like, okay, what's popular? Yeah. And that allows us to track it from an accountability standpoint. Like, okay, then what can we have more of next year and maybe cut back on, instead to make room for this cool thing. But lastly, like, lines are a bummer.
I hate lining up to things. So. I will be like, I love this thing. Not going to wait an hour and a half to get into that thing.
Right. So
the tickets are amazing.
Yeah, and we try to avoid that completely at Gen Con. There's a couple events that are going to have like a line-like thing that are not necessarily ticketed, but I would say 98% of our stuff is you're not gonna. Yeah. There's no line. I did see a good question. So thank you, Jordan, for answering that about the streaming. So we will have this channel online, and so it's going to be this channel, which is official Gen Con. And from this channel, you'll find like celebrity games, a lot of like Maze Arcana, Geek and Sundry events. That kind of stuff is going to be, yeah, it's really exciting, right? It's going to be live streamed from this channel. And then our secondary channel is twitch.tv/Gen Con Studio, all one word. And from there, it's going to be every couple hours, I think, is different companies at Gen Con coming onto that stream and being like, here's this cool new thing that we brought to Gen Con, check it out. So if you can't go to Gen Con, the Gen Con Studio is definitely going to be your best bet for both seeing like what's being released, demos of new games, what these great companies are planning for in the next few months and beyond, and just kind of get a general sense of like what is Gen Con like and like what kind of cool stuff can I find at Gen Con.
Yeah, especially for those people who can only make Gen Con every couple of years because it's expensive.
Right.
Like when I was living in Ireland, you know,
Yeah.
I would have loved just being able to be part of Gen Con without having the ability
Sure,
to go.
right.
So I think that's super cool. And also, I really love Pandemic, for example, or something like that, and seeing like maybe the designer or the producer of that game talking about it and maybe giving me some sneak information that I didn't know before.
Right.
Like I would just love that stuff. So I'm excited for that stream.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I want to eat it up too. I want to have it up on my phone. Just
Yeah,
like,
right.
Just like watching
I'm
as
just
I'm
gonna watch
working.
Gen Con.
Absolutely. Let's see what else. Something about tickets for free events. It's awesome for vendors if you still get those free tickets for those events. So exactly. So that's. You're absolutely right, and that's the accountability thing too. Is like we meticulously count all of our bought event tickets and everything, so that it's basically like a direct feedback from you to us of like how you want the show to be essentially. All right, so we talked about events and event tickets. Does anyone? I just want to make sure we don't miss any questions about events while we're still on this subject, because I know it's kind of a big different thing about Gen Con than other conventions.
There's one more thing. If you're stuck for cash,
Yeah.
is going through the exhibitor hall and saving money is and say you can't or don't want to buy tickets to events for some reason, you don't have the money for it. The exhibitor hall is lined with people wanting to run demos for their game. These
So
demos
you
will
can still play games.
they'll
all
take like
weekend.
5 minutes to 30 minutes. You can
Yeah.
fill weeks of game time if you just went from booth to booth to try out their games.
Try
So,
demos. Yeah.
that's another cool way to spend your time. Maybe that's why you want to block out. You know, I block out 4 hours just to see the things.
Right.
And I may not want to buy something and come back, but that game looked really cool and I want to try it, so I'm going to come
Absolutely.
back on Saturday and play
That's
it
it.
or something like that. So. That's another more affordable way to try out a bunch of games without necessarily having tickets if you didn't get some.
Sure. Okay, and then let's see. I'm trying to think of what else. Being new myself, you know, what else is really good, important information to know. I guess it's like we kind of covered, like just being prepared for all of the stuff, all of the things will be in front of you. And also, you know, you said that just be prepared to be overwhelmed, and that's okay, and it's gonna happen. And you know, release this. You know, if you have a need of like trying to see everything you can, try and do everything you can, let it go.
Yeah, that's another thing. Be flexible, be open-minded, and be kind. Or things that I say, just be friendly to everybody. Be aware that what you do might affect other people and what you say.
Sure.
But also, sometimes events get canceled because somebody got sick, the event organizer couldn't make it, or you thought you were going to get into this event with generics, but it's full. And just be flexible and open-minded. A closed door opens another one somewhere else. So
I like that.
yeah, you know, just do a pickup game with somebody else who's just sitting around or something.
Right.
You just, things change. It's an environment where there's a lot of people and you guys spent all year preparing for it, but naturally not everything will go smoothly all of the time.
Sure.
So just be flexible and open-minded about opportunities. And
I think other great like lower cost options if you just want to come and play games is the BGG Hot Games Room, and you're gonna be able to go. Like, I'm so excited. You're gonna be able to go into that room and see all of the top games that are either releasing at Gen Con or premiering at Gen Con, or just kind of like premiering around Gen Con. So that's going to be an awesome thing to go check out. And also our first exposure playtest hall, where You're gonna be able. I want to say it's free. I don't think it costs.
I know you have to get a ticket, but I don't know.
I think it's a free event, but Jordan can tell us for sure in chat. But it's basically, if you don't know anything about it, it's you're playtesting games from designers who are essentially looking for feedback, right? And so you're getting in on all these cool new games and testing them out, seeing what they're going to be like, and then also you're helping shape the future of that game as well.
You get to try games that haven't been published yet.
Exactly.
That's just so cool, and you have an opportunity to influence its design possibly.
Absolutely.
That's not something that you get to do every day.
Exactly.
It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. What else, Nelly?
Oh man, I just had a thought and it went away.
Oh.
There was two. Okay, first of all, you can get massages at Gen Con. I don't know how much they are because I have always been like, I don't have time for you. But
I want to.
They're right outside the exhibit hall main entrance, I think.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think. And there's like 10 chairs set up with people giving you back rubs, and I don't know how much it costs, but that's so cool. Why? Like, Gen Con has literally thought of everything. That reminds me. I want to know what exclusive Gen Con things you have, because last year they had this glitter pizza.
Oh my gosh.
And for people who've never gone to Gen Con, that's super weird. It was weird for me. So I'm wondering what you guys have this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So well, to talk about that, our Hotbox exclusive pizza this year is called Dungeons and Drizzles. And it is, I'll tell you about why it's called that in a second.
Okay.
It's a pizza with macaroni and cheese on top. So it's a mac and cheese pizza. And then on top of the mac and cheese, you can get a drizzle option of either hot sauce, buffalo sauce, or ranch.
Oh my god. I know what I'm eating like the whole time. How do you get it? So if I'm going to Gen Con for the first time, how do I get this pizza?
So Hotbox Pizza is located in 2 locations this year, both out on Georgia Street and on South Street as well. They'll have 2 tents this year, so double the fun there. What else? So our exclusive beer this year from Sun King Brewing is called Everlasting Gamer. Gamer, and it is an American Amber Ale. So pretty much just like a good summer beer that everyone's gonna like.
It's really cool. Like I remember last year or the year before, they actually like designed the can for the beer to be super nerdy. It was like it was 20-sided rye, I think, or something. Sure. And it was really cool. It had like a D20, and I still have that at home. The can because it's. Who does that? I know,
yeah. Sun King does such a great job with all of their beer executions on that as well. Drizzle for shizzle, I know, right? Speaking of, really quick, Georgia Street and affordable events. Georgia Street is completely free. So, well, not completely free because you still have to pay for food and drink.
Yeah.
But you don't need a badge to get in on Georgia Street. So if you have friends in Indianapolis, if you've got family in Indy that just wants to come hang out, you can like get them in. Like that's your sneaky way of like getting them hooked on Gen Con, is having them come out to the block party on Georgia Street, because you can just walk around, go to the food trucks. On Wednesday night, we're having the block party kickoff. So I don't know if you knew this or not, Nelly, but we're doing a free concert from an indie local band called Brother Oh Brother, and then Local H as well. And then that's when the tapping party is as well. So basically, we're gonna tap Everlasting Gamer Wednesday night at 5:00, and then we're all gonna hang out. 21 plus, of course.
That's cool.
And then drink a beer and listen to a free concert. And they've got cool like outdoor games set up out there. I know I've seen pictures of like giant Jenga.
That's fun.
The cornhole, just like all the cool fun stuff.
Outdoor things.
Yeah, outdoor
I know
things
people that literally spend the whole weekend in that beer garden and they're just perfectly happy.
Perfectly happy.
They just have pickup games in their bags and they do that and they drink beer and eat food. It's great.
I mean, that sounds like a great weekend to me.
How many food trucks are there around Gen Con? Do you know?
So I do know. So we have just over 65 rotating food trucks.
So many options.
I know, right? So it won't be 65 all at one time. That was my first question. I was like, we have 65 food trucks all
they
at once?
rotate.
And my boss was like,
is there a schedule?
No. There is a schedule. We just got it today. So we'll be releasing the schedule in tomorrow's newsletter. So you'll look for that out in the newsletter tomorrow.
Some of the other local restaurants as well, I've noticed you can go and ask for the Gen Con beer and they'll usually have it. It's not just isolated to the beer garden. If for some reason you can't make it, maybe you have kids with you, so you can't get separated from them, but going to some of the local eateries around, if you ask for it, they'll have it for you.
They'll have the new Gen Con beer. Okay, so we've got, I'm looking at the time here, just a few minutes left here. Nellie, what are your other hot tips for, I'm a newcomer, maybe what did you cover in your video last night?
A lot of what we've talked about, we're hitting most of those important notes. I guess the other thing to remember is that it's Indiana. It is usually humid and very warm. However, there have been Gen Cons where it's been colder, and there's been Gen Cons where it's been heavy torrential rain and thunderstorms, but still very hot. So,
look at the weather report, dress appropriately.
Get one of those little rain jackets that comes in a thing, because you don't want it to take up all your space. You just need to be covered to run from your lift or from your hotel across the street to the convention center or to food. That's one thing that I forgot, and my hair just went that first year, so that was interesting.
For sure.
Here's the thing, if this is your first Gen Con, you need a badge, you need to get to the convention, and you need to have somewhere to stay. Everything else can be figured out. You can get events while you're there. There's a mall close by, you can buy clothes. There are food places around, you can get food. If you've forgotten something, as long as it's not your badge, as long as your hotel and transport, it's gonna be okay. Everything else, you're gonna have a wonderful time. I'm really jealous that I don't get to do my first Gen Con again, because it's just it's the weirdest experience.
You mentioned earlier that you're really organized. Would you recommend just making a little packing list so you don't forget this stuff?
Sure, especially usually I pack a couple of days before, but there's always those things you don't want to pack.
Right.
So I have a list of the things that are essential and the things that I have to pack last minute that I shouldn't forget.
Sure.
Other than that, pack like you're going anywhere else.
Make sure you got your badge and your event tickets.
Bring a battery pack if you have one.
Sometimes, that's a good tip.
I have one that's gonna charge my phone 3 times fully if I wanted it to. It's a little overkill, but that's one thing. It's gonna be hard to get power while you're out and about.
That's actually a great tip there. So if you don't have a portable battery pack already, I think you can pick them up at your local drugstore, but also from Amazon. Get that Prime 2-day shipping, and you'll have it just in time for the con if you order it today or tomorrow for sure.
I just saw somebody mention Cluster Truck. Can we talk about Cluster Truck?
Yes.
Cluster Truck. Last year they had a coupon in the coupon book. I don't know if they will this year. We'll find out on site. But Cluster Truck is this super cool app or desktop page that you can load up, and I think it has food and menu options from a variety of different food truck areas in Indy, and a guy on a bike or in a car will go around and pick up the things that you wanted.
Oh, it looks like we might be frozen. Okay, let's see.
Oh no.
I think we should be back now. Just double checking. Are we back? Can you guys see us? Can you hear us right now? Am I talking into the ether? I think we're back. I just want to make sure though.
What's the last thing we said?
I know, right? I think we were just talking about Cluster Truck when I first saw the... Okay, great. Perfect. All right, thanks, guys. So we're talking about Cluster Truck. So
Cluster Truck is like an app or a website, depending on how you're using it, and it connects to a variety of different food trucks around Indy, and you can make your order. You can be like, I want barbecue, I want these loaded tater tots, I want avocado toast and this soda, and a guy on a bike or in a car will go around and collect those things, and then you can tell him, meet me at this entrance of the convention center.
Love it.
And you just pay them and food comes to you. It is not the cheapest service, but it is super convenient.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
Now I want loaded
I use it almost every day, and they're pretty aware of dietary restrictions too. Right. So sometimes if you're gluten free or vegan or something like that, you can find a couple of options that way.
Perfect.
I love Cluster Truck.
All right. Any other last minute miscellaneous tips that you have for us? Anything you can think about?
Oh, boy.
And we've got a couple minutes
left.
Any
last minute questions?
Yeah, any last minute questions? If not, we'll see y'all in Indy in a few days.
I don't think I have anything else. I think we covered everything.
Okay, great. Well, and if Nellie, are you gonna be at the Stink?
I am gonna be at the Stink, of course. So I don't know. We haven't verbally talked about it yet, but the Stink is a really cool event. It's on Wednesday night. I think it starts at 5 or 6 p.m. And you can buy tickets to it. They're probably sold out now, but after the ticketed people get in, people without tickets can go in. And it is an event put on by a variety of different Gen Con communities. So there's the gamers, the Mavens, the Gen Con UN, which I'm part of because I'm from Ireland.
Sure.
there's just a variety of different groups, and the whole event has hundreds of people in it, and it's designed to make you interact with each other and be friends with each other. So there's a couple of like games and raffles and meet and greets. So I'm going to be at the Stink if you guys want to meet me. And it's a really great way if you're soloing it or if you're new to Gen Con to get acclimated to what the environment is going to be like. So.
Great. All right. Well, I don't think we have any more questions, so I will sign off for now. Nellie, thank you so much
for joining. Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate
this was really fun.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming out today. I appreciate you telling me. Me? I know. All right. I've been talking too long. That's how you know. I really appreciate you telling me, because this is going to be my first Gen Con, and telling our viewers as well what to expect. If you guys want to find more of Nellie's great content, like she said, she did a whole 45-minute vlog of just her talking about it. So I'm sure you're going to figure out some hot tips from there too. That's you'll see that in the right here, Nellie's Nerdy Adventures. Search for it on Google or YouTube or your favorite browser. And we'll see. I'll see you in a few days.
I know.
And I'll see you all next week. So I'm really excited that that Gen Con is very soon. Like I put up a post earlier today on social media. I was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited for you? And like literally, I'm just like, I am so excited. This is just Kristen talking right now.
Christmas.
I'm at 11.
It's Christmas.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.